Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, it's a great morning, a Friday. Whoa, we got a lot of stuff going on today. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're with me this morning because we have a lot to talk about. So, what we're going to talk about today are blind spots and how important it is to know what your blind spot is. But guess what? You can't identify your blind spot on your own, or they wouldn't be considered blind spots. Well, you can identify some of them on your own. So but you're going to have help. No matter what, you're going to have help with your blind spots. You got to have help. Who are you going to have for help? You got to ask somebody. Who are you going to ask? You're going to ask somebody close to you, but not too close to you. My wife, she would love to tell me about my blind spots, but they aren't always where she can help me. It's not always a situation where she's the right one for me to talk to about my blind spots. Yes, there are times where it's beneficial. There are times where it makes sense for her to come in and to tell me about a blind spot that I have. But in my work and what I'm doing with my work, it's not always appropriate. I mean, she doesn't always know what's going on. She doesn't have the full story. So she's not the right one to tell me about my blind spots in that area. So who else am I going to have? I've got to go to other people. I've got to go to other people that know me, that are maybe friends with me, but at least they're not too much friends with me that they're not willing to say, hey, Brian, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you making this call? Why did you say this to this person? You need to have someone in your corner that is a truth teller. A truth teller is someone that will tell you the truth no matter what, no matter how hard it hurts, no matter how hard it is to accept. I have a number of them in my corner. Can't tell you how much it means to me to have them in my corner. And some of them I pay, but others I don't pay. I mean, but they're just good friends, and I'll go to them and I'll. Here's the other thing: you need to make sure that you ask those truth tellers that you want feedback. But what's important is that you ask for that feedback in a specific area. If you give them wide open range of what that feedback is, you're going to get all kinds of back and forth. And that's not always helpful. So if you can get concerted or concentrated feedback, for example, if I'm a speaker, and I am, and I say to somebody, I wish that I could get feedback on my speech, and I'd like to make sure that I'm making an impact in this area. How do I get feedback on that without going up to somebody and ask them specifically for that? So if you're a plumber and you think you can do a better job, so you ask some of your friends, can you look at some of my recent work and tell me what you think of how this looks? They're going to give you specific feedback on how that looks. And you say, well, you know what? My U joint, I don't know, I'm making terms up, but my U joint looks out of place. Does this look right to you? Well, then they can tell you about your U joint and how it looks. That's what feedback is. So that's what good feedback is. So you ask someone you ask someone that's close to you, you ask for specific feedback. And then the next part is you ask for it in a timely manner. Now, for me, if I'm a speaker, and I am, we've gone over that, and I go up to and give a speech, and I don't tell the person when to give me their feedback. And they come to me right after the speech. Maybe I've just sat down, maybe I'm not even standing, I'm still standing. And they give me the feedback. Well, that for me anyways, maybe other people can handle this, but for me, after I come off the stage, I'm like, wow, that was awesome. I need to be in that moment. I need 24 hours of just experiencing the moment, being with the people, being a good source for them, to help them to take in parts of my speech that they felt were impactful, and to just serve them the way that I need to serve them. I need that time to be able to do that. So for you, maybe as a plumber, you can get that feedback right away. But for me, as a speaker, I need to have 24 hours in order to be able to take in that time to digest what has happened. And then when I get that feedback, I'll be much better. I'll be much better off to take it in with a I guess a more open and accepting. So what's important is when you receive feedback about your blind spots, when you receive feedback that you've asked for, you need to make sure you receive it as a gift. And what do you say when you receive a gift? That's right. Thank you. So that's important that you receive feedback in the same way. And if you receive it that way, that's a gift, then you're going to be able to get it in the future from that person in a similar way. And you're going to be able to receive it in your heart, and you'll be able to be more teachable, because not being teachable is a big blind spot that a lot of people have. And not knowing yourself, not being considerate of others, not acknowledging other people. Those are all blind spots that we have. But if we can accept their feedback, you're going to go so much farther. You are going to have so much more success. Yeah. So that's a little bit about what we talk about when we talk about blind spots. We talk about blind spots from a perspective of, here it is what we're doing, and here it is what we want to be able to do for, well, I shouldn't say that. So blind spots are not all about what we're doing and what we want to do, but blind spots also can help us to understand that there is something else out there. And when I say something else out there, I'm thinking of, the blind spot that we all have when we're talking about, they can be positive blind spots and they can be negative blind spots. So, I was very fortunate when I had just had brain surgery. I have a huge amount of supporters around me, and I didn't ask for this feedback, but I got it anyways. It was from one of my kids, and you've heard the letter before, but I'm going to tell you the impact that letter had on me. She showed me my blind spots, and they were positive blind spots. That's really important to understand. Blind spots don't always have to be negative. So again, in the letter, this is a letter from my daughter, Jess. She was 13. She said, "Dear Dad, happy Dad's Day. I hope you have a great day, because you definitely deserve it. All the cards and TV commercials say my dad's the best, but they're all lying. Sure, other people's dads are great. They're younger than you, they're sportier, and they're funner. But you've got something that they don't have. Bravery. Even after everything you've been through, you still get out of bed in the morning. You still go out and cook on the grill and joke around with us and play with us, even though you only have half of one good eye. But you don't. So right there, Jess has told me what it is that I mean to her. She told me to stop comparing myself to other people. She told me that I could be someone. I am someone, that I just needed to be her dad. So that's important. We've got some people on this morning. Good morning. Let's see. So I'm going to pause that story. So we're pausing that story to acknowledge some people that came on this morning. Good morning, Jacques. How are you this morning? Let's see who else. Rhonda. Good morning, Rhonda from Signet, Ohio. Hey, Jacques, would you do me a favor and put in a hashtag where you're from? I would appreciate that. Who else do we have? Oh, Jacques is a mentor. So that's great. Yeah, and now another person that can help you see your blind spots. Absolutely. Oh, and your team. Very good point, Jacques. Oh, James. I'm sorry. I said James. That was actually, I said Jacques. I meant James. So James is another one that can tell you a little bit about blind spots and how you can see through them. Go out to your team. Yeah. Oh, thank you, James. Appreciate that. And Chris Gross is on this morning. Good morning, Chris from Colorado Springs. Gotta love it. Pikes Peak. Woohoo! Now what else we got here? Oh, yeah, being open to receiving feedback. That's really important. Thank you very much. And the truth always seems to set us free, doesn't it, James? Thank you so much for that. All right, let's see. Cindy Lumen, Cindy Carr Lumen. She joined on LinkedIn and on Facebook. Very cool. And there's Rick. Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you both for joining, or at least Cindy. And she's in the Houston International Airport. Interesting. Cool. Well, thank you. And let's see, what else? Oh, James Robertson has a lot to say here. Blind, but okay. We learn from hurting others about their blind spots. We learn from learning about the blind spot. Oh, yeah. We learn from learning about the blind spot. So that's what he meant to say, not blind spots, but blind spots. So that's cool. And thank you very much. St. James, would you do me a favor and let us know where you're calling in from? That would be great. And then we have Michael Landis, right, out of LA. I'm guessing that's not Latin America. I'm guessing that's Los Angeles. Thank you very much for joining, Michael. I appreciate that. Appreciate all you being on here today and talking with us about blind spots. So we talked about how we all have blind spots. We all have blindness in our lives, but we don't always know how to get rid of those blind spots. Well, I told you a little bit about my daughter and how she shared with me that letter. And in that letter, she told me that I needed to stop comparing myself to other people because other dads are great. You know, they're younger than you, they're sportier, they're funner. It didn't matter to her. Stop comparing myself to other people and start to understand that I have something that they don't have. You have something that other people don't have. You're just like me, but different. So we all have something we need to share with other people. We all have something that we need to share in order to help other people, make other people's lives better. You have it. Cindy Carr, Lumen, Chris Gross, James Robertson, Jacques Georges, everyone else on this call. You all have something that you need to share with other people in order to make someone else's life better. It's our duty to let other people know what makes us awesome. We're all awesome. You are all awesome. Everybody's awesome. I would put everybody in a big room and give them a great big hug and tell them how awesome they are. I would love to do that, but I can't right now. I can tell you you are awesome. So how do you know that you're awesome? Well, first step is you start to understand who it is that you are. Become more self-aware. That makes me think of a part of my presentation where I actually talk about this. So in this part of the presentation, we go into what's called the Johari window. And the Johari window is a tool that's used for self-awareness. and you start to understand how you have things that you see and things you don't see, but then you have things that other people see and other people don't see. So it's kind of a big grid, if you will, and it starts to show you a little bit about how important it is to understand and to make as much of your life understood by you and seen by others. So if you can do that, you can have a much more peak presence area. That's where you're really able to make that one area as large as possible, and you eliminate your blind spots. You can at least reduce them, and then you begin to reduce your hidden area, and your unknown area. So your blind spots are those things in life that you have where you have things that are not known by you, but they're known by other people about you. So think about what you do every day, or how you live your life, and what is it that you don't know, but other people don't know? Well, that's a hard question to answer. How do you know what you don't know, but other people know? Well, that's why I talk so much about blind spots and how important they are. They're also called cognitive biases. But my daughter, Jess, showed me my blind spots. She showed me, what it is that I meant to her. And she showed me what effect I was having on her and other people. So that was one of those moments where I just had this aha moment. I mean, the letter showed me who I was. So let's go back to what I was going to tell you about with the self-improvement tool called the Johari window. But really, it was more about how do you discover what makes you awesome. So I'm going to show you this, hopefully, and we will be able to have a discussion about it. So let's see here. I'm going to share my screen and do this. And I'm going to pick that one. And I'm going to share it. So here we go. So like I was telling you about with the Johari window, upper right hand quadrant, you have things that it's called your peak performance area, but those are things you know and things that other people know. And then on the left are the things that you don't know, but other people do know. So for example, you're coming back from the restroom, and you have a piece of toilet paper hanging on your heel. Kind of funny to visualize, but as you're coming back, there are a lot of people that could say to you, they could say, Brian, you have a little piece of toilet paper on your heel. But if they don't, then that's a blind spot. It's still a blind spot. So it's something that people know, but I don't know. Well, I'm sure a lot of times I have blind spots with my wife, and she'll sometimes tell me about them. But that's helpful. But we need to get to that point where we also have someone that will help us see our blind spots in our workplace. So let's go back to the drawing. Here we have this peak presence area, and on the left we have the blind spot, and where we talk about things that are known to other people but not known to us, known to us. So if we can understand, if we can solicit the feedback, like I was telling you about a little bit ago, if we can solicit that feedback from other people, from those truth tellers, then we're going to be able to reduce our blind spots. That's really what we want to do. So I can't tell you how important that is, because feedback will allow you to make your blind spot smaller. And that's really one of the most important things to understand out of all this, is to make your blind spot smaller. You need to have feedback. And so this is that self-awareness tool that I was telling you about. And so in the end, how do you be awesome? How can you be awesome? You're already awesome. I told you that already. But if you can understand you're awesome, know yourself, know how awesome you are, and know where you're awesome, then you'll start down the path of being awesome. But you got to build on your strengths. I mean, my daughter told me, who I was. I was her dad. So I went to work being her dad. It was not really a hard job, but I mean, it was. I had to be focused on being her dad. I had to do everything I could to make sure that I served her in the best way that I could as her dad. So know your strength, build on your strengths. So all too often in our performance reviews, we will have a discussion or a part of the performance review where they'll tell you about your good spots and they'll tell you about things you need to work on, and then they'll tell you about your good spots again. It's kind of the Oreo effect or a sandwich, where they put the negative stuff in the middle. So you're always ending or starting with a high and ending with a high. But this area of building on our strengths, we need to understand that if we go away from where they talk about building on the areas we need to work on, and we focus on building on our strengths, I think that's a much better approach for life if we build on our strengths, because then we can have someone else that fills in that gap. If you're a manager and you have people on your team that you need to make sure they're working as productively as possible, you don't want to spend a lot of time working on areas that they're not excelling at. You want to have them work on the areas that they are excelling at, and then fill in that gap with someone else on the team. I mean, that's a great way of approaching your work. So I would say that was one area another area of how you can be awesome. You can be awesome by building on your strengths. And the third reason or third area, what do I want to say? The third way that you can be awesome is to talk nice to yourself. When I was getting around for this call, I had some things that I'd forgotten. I had to go back upstairs, so I come back downstairs to do this call, and then I forgot it. There was something else I forgot. So I'm like, you dummy, stop it. I should not be saying that to myself. I should be talking nice to myself. Don't say you're dumb. Don't say you're stupid. Don't say, you're whatever. Don't talk that way to yourself. Talk nice to yourself. Talk nice to yourself just like you're talking nice to other people. And that's another way to be awesome. And then really the last way to know how awesome you are is to share your awesomeness. Because when you share your awesomeness with other people, like I'm sharing my awesomeness with you, like who would have ever guessed that I would be having this conversation with all of you? This makes me feel awesome. I love this. And it's a great way to end my week, great way to end the day. Although my day is just starting, but it's a great way to be. I love it. And I love it having you all on today and sharing this message with you. These are our are some ways we can handle our blind spots. So in the future calls, we are going to go deeper into blind spots. I'm not sure I can do it, but I'm sure I can. We can go deeper into those blind spots and talk about specific ways that you can see through your blind spots. And once you begin to see through your blind spots, then you begin to go from blindness to sight. Once you go from blindness to sight, you're up for the next level, and that's having vision, because it's all about embracing your own personal blindness to achieve a greater vision for your life. I can't tell you how happy I am that you all joined this call this morning. I have a few other people that have commented. So let's see. James Robertson is from, let's see here. Stop sharing. And so James Robertson is coming in from El Paso, Texas. Thank you very much, James. Michael Landis, he liked my my Latin America joke. I appreciate that. And James is with me. Absolutely. Never surrender. I appreciate you all. So this is all good stuff. And people are watching. That's right, James. So we can only live our lives. Our actions speak louder than words. Very true, James. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks for being on this morning, James. And we got another person that's joined, Sundaraj. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that name correctly, but thanks for joining. I appreciate you. Well, I'll tell you, thank you all for joining this morning. I appreciate all of you. If there's any questions or comments in regards to how I can help you with your blind spots, be happy to help. I have a website where I have a membership and it's free. So I'm going to put that in the comments also, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. And I'm going to put in there the link in order for you to be able to join my membership site. It's free again. And there are some things in there that will also help you to be entered into a raffle. And the raffle is to win a signed copy of my book called Sometimes It Does Take a Brain Surgeon. If you would, in your post, in your timeline for whatever application or social media you're on, just put in a post of you winking without me. It seems kind of strange, I know, but a picture of you winking without me. And the whole idea is for you to start to understand what makes you unique. See, I know what makes me unique. And what makes me unique is not the fact that I have one eye open. What makes me unique is my positive personality. And I'm able to share my story with other people in order to help them. So as you're winking, I want you to think, if this guy, meaning me, knows what makes him unique, and it's not the fact that he only has one eye open, I wonder what makes me unique, meaning you. That's the whole idea behind winking, and we call it winking with Wagner. So put that picture in your timeline, put a hashtag of Brian with one eye, and then a hashtag of winking with Wagner or winking without Wagner, however you want to do it. And you'll be entered into the raffle for a free copy of my book. Again, what you've done here today and how you've all been on the call, I truly appreciate having all of you. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, please let me know, and we will continue on. And tomorrow's another day, and God bless it. We've got a great day ahead of us. So thank you very much. And I always encourage everyone to keep one eye on the road. Thank you.